Hey, old board here. We're detailing out Amherst, and in this video, we're going to put in a smoothie, detail out the little area around it, Los Gekos, an art center, and some other little assets that I'm really enjoying. So sit back, relax, take a deep breath. This is a nice little coffee shop asset that I found. This is kind of an eclectic little hip area for college, university students. This is Los Gekos. Can't have a college town without Los Gekos. You know, everything in detailing is about just the arrangement and the placement of things. And the way my City Skylines 1 play has evolved has been interesting, but when you play a video game for so long, so many years, you evolve. And so I've evolved into a painter. And so even though this little scene isn't the most important scene, I want to make it just right. If you were to come down this street, this is North Pleasant Street in Amherst, Massachusetts. You would see all of these types of buildings, and but getting the trees just right, getting the parking right, getting the correct assets there, it's really an art because you have to learn a large set of assets. This is the little cemetery behind here. Might work on it a little bit. It's actually where you can find Emily Dickinson's grave. She's a famous poet who lived in this town a long time ago. I'm gonna have to fix this elevation here, but I use this little brush to put down some weeds and some grass, and then I'll move those around and adjust them in there how I like. And from the street view, you'll see that grass back in there. It makes that scene really pop out. And I'll probably need to level out the terrain here to put this parking lot in correctly. So, I finally installed City Skylines 2. And I have to admit, I am super impressed. And it is a very different experience. And the great thing about it is, for the first time in years, I'm enjoying playing the simulation. And it's kind of the way the game was designed to play. See, this is the thing that a lot of the old-time players of City Skylines 1, I don't think they quite get it, because City Skylines 2 vastly improves on the simulation. And so a lot of us who, let's just say we got bored with the simulation of City Skylines 1. We learned it, we learned industries, we learned all of the expansions, how to implement them into the game. And then a lot of us became either painters or let's just say semi-painters. We wanted to make our cities look good. And City Skylines 2 is not really built for that, but you don't really need many downloadable assets, if any at all. And the ability to put in props and do the kinds of things that I'm doing right now, it's just not in the game. But the simulation is so much vastly improved. It is what the game is built for. It's not built to be a painter or even a semi-quasi painter city builder. It's built to play a highly advanced city simulation. And so you can check it out on my channel that I have started to play City Skylines 2, and you can see that playlist. And I'm going very slow. They're not really tutorial videos. They're kind of just gameplay videos. And those of you who've played CS1 for so long will find that it's really pretty easy to get used to. And I'm also finding that I'm not rushed. I don't feel like I'm going from one thing to the next. I don't feel the pressure hardly at all to go beyond what I'm trying to do and what I'm trying to learn. So I just highly recommend it. And of course, you're going to need a computer that'll handle it. If you don't have a computer that'll handle it, you probably don't want to get it. And that is a very unfortunate thing. I don't know that the majority of the City Skylines 1 players will be able to do it. I've always wanted to detail out this little cemetery here because it's kind of a landmark in the city. It's actually bigger than what I put in. I didn't put very many gravestones in here. And it's a park, so you don't want to put those little grass down so squarely. You want to rotate those around so that they don't look like squared grass. So detailing out this little Smoothie King here, around the building is what I want to make stand out. The building itself is such a great asset. And so you need the right tree. And the tree has to be placed just right. And the bench. And the shadows have to go just right. I'll move that around until I get the shadows even exactly like I want them. So I guess my tip to you would be, if you really like to paint and detail, play City Skylines 1, and if you want to experience the new simulation, which is way beyond the simulation here, and you have a computer that can handle it, I wouldn't know what that really would be. But if you've got the computer that can handle it, I would get City Skylines 2. I have to admit I was very skeptical, but I am impressed. So this whole little area here, I've pretty much laid out using Google Maps and Google Earth. Of course, all the assets, you'd have to literally build them to make this area true to life. And it's not really true to life because of the assets, really. A lot of the other little details are placed in the game. I'm going to put a art center in, and I'm going to put a little restaurant in right behind here. It's actually on Google Maps. And a lot of times I just leave space between things. I like that space. These little grass headsets you can use kind of as a backdrop into that wooded area. So this is the art center, and I put this sign down because I was looking for the building and I just can't find the building now. But you know, this building I'm placing, looking at the other buildings around, giving it some space. We need some more residential back in here. You just Alt V to go through that tag list there. And these big blocks have trees in between the houses. And like a painter, I have many different forest brushes. You can move that density up. That's really the way this area is. Really dense trees. I don't know whether it's natural or whether they're planted because it just gets so cold. And there's so much snow and the winters are so long that those trees are windbreaks to your houses. And I like to dot in these little winter trees here and there. Leaves just fell off a little early. This is early fall, autumn. And this is the little area where the restaurant goes into. And if you can place these assets just right, you're going to really make this little area stand out. And that is the fun of painting. Just get some basic trees in there. And I'm finding that grouping certain trees together is also a way of highly detailing your area. This parking back in here is made for this restaurant. There's some light poles on those paths, and there's a way to take them off, but I think it requires network skins. It's just another mod, so I just leave them in, or I cover the building over those light poles. And I would use surface painter, but it's kind of unforgiving and it doesn't look good enough to me. I'm just going to slide this grass right back into that back corner there. Now I'm going to group these trees and size these trees. This is a human planted foliage layer. A couple of series ago, I do a detailing mods series, and I have layers that I go through. And this little grouping of trees here is kind of important to me. It's just on a little hill right above the parking lot. And I just want to get these groupings of trees right. I don't really like the tree next to the bank, but I'm going to leave it. I might change it. And so that little grouping of trees kind of gives the restaurant a little bit more privacy, I guess. I've never really used these assets. They're required for some other assets, and I just can't find that I like them enough. And I want to put a fence in here. This hill is going to be difficult for these terrain conforming fences. And I don't really want to terraform the hill because I just like it so much. It comes right out of the parking lot. Just really neat. And I'm going to try this. I think that's good. So much you can do to detail these out. This is another sign. I placed the sign down and I was going to put the building here, but I just could never find the building again. And this is a really neat little Chinese takeout. It really needs that path on the other side. All these little houses need detailing around them. Yeah, this is North Pleasant Street, and it's really coming along. There's your bank back in here next to your local restaurant. There's somebody up on the top. He walked up there on the top. Something about this I'm just not quite liking. That's better. So I've got quite a few City Skylines 2 videos coming out, but I'm the old bore. They're probably going to be pretty boring. I would think that if you could not play the game for whatever reason, they would be good to watch because you're getting to vicariously play the game through me and get to see what it's like, because a lot of the videos out there are either tutorial videos, or they're going really fast, or they're time-lapsed. And so check it out. If you can't play City Skylines 2, I literally just turn on the recording, play for half an hour, and put up the video. And I'm continuing on with this series because this is just such a different experience. It's such a visually impacting experience because you have so much control over everything. The color, the lighting, the clouds, the textures, the trees. You know, this is just a different experience. And I think they were smart to do what they did. And I would think that maybe in 10 years, you'll be able to paint with CS2. But it's a new game. They're working on it. So if you are going to play it, you're going to try to play it, you know, just roll with it. It's not going to look like this. It's not even going to perform like this. But I'm sure they're working on it. I'm sure they're burning the candle at both ends, trying to get that game to run better for people. I'm not worried about it. If I get to a point where I can't play it, I just stop and I come back to CS1. Or when I want to relax, like I'm relaxing here, I'm really liking this little area here, which is just had a long day at work and you're gonna drive home. You may live in Northampton and you just want to sit down for a little while and relax, or you have to get in the car and get into traffic. Now, back in my detailing with mods series is the setup for the control mods, tree control, prop control, and there's another one, I'm not going to remember the name of it, but if you set those up correctly, you'll get way more performance out of this.